Hey y'all, Merry Christmas and Happy Advent. I just wanted to thank y'all so far for all those views. It's really encouraging to me, so thank you so much. Today is December 4th, fourth day of reading. I really like this one. I think it's really pretty poignant for everything that's going on in the world the last couple years and what's happening in our personal worlds as well. So yeah, I think this one is very applicable. December 4th is Rise. Today's reading: The Lord observed the extent of human wickedness on the earth, and he saw that everything they thought or imagined was consistently and totally evil. So the Lord was sorry he had ever made them and put them on the earth. It broke his heart. And the Lord said, I will wipe this human race I have created from the face of the earth. Yes, I will destroy every living thing, all the people, the large animals and the small animals that scurry along the ground, and even the birds of the sky. I am sorry that I ever made them. But Noah found favor with the Lord. Genesis chapter 6, verses 5 through 8. In the midst of Advent, with the swags of cedar on porches and the lights twisted up street lights, the headlines still spray across the face of the earth. They tear us open, and the world floods with pain. God feels with us. His heart was filled with pain. God has a heart, and it hurts. It hurts with what hurts us. His heart hurts not just with a few drops of ache, not just with a slow drip of sadness. The whole expanse of his heart fills, swells, weighs dark with the storms of pain. And God whispers close to us in a hurting world. A mother whose heart is bound to her child's? That doesn't compare to how your Father's heart is bound to you. How did we ever find ourselves with the gift of finding favor with God? God who hung the stars, he has taken a thread of his heart and tied it to yours. And he didn't need to, but God tied his heart to yours so that when you feel pain, he fills with pain. The tears of God are the meaning of history, writes American philosopher Nicholas Walterstorff. When sin effectively ended our time with God in the garden, God could have effectively ended all time in the world. But history and time still unfold. Gifts, because God chooses tears. The flood was the flood of God's grief, and the essence of time is the tears of God. Time only continues on in this impossibly suffering world because God himself is willing to keep suffering the impossible with us. While other creeds endeavor to get us out of the world and into heaven, in Christianity, heaven comes down and Christ comes into this world to get us, to suffer with us. We find favor only because Christ feels pain. Christ comes like an ark, like a cradle over floods, and we read the headlines and wonder, if there's a God who really cares, he'd look at this world and his heart would break. And God looks to the cross, that real tree, and says, my heart did. On that cross, they speared his side and pierced straight into his heart, filled with pain, and it was the water and blood of his broken heart that gushed right out, a flood of love. It's the quantum physics of God. One broken heart always breaks God's in two. God's heart breaks in two to let us into the ark of his love. Every flood of stress is an invitation to get into the ark of our Savior. Every flood of trouble remakes the typography of our souls, making us better or bitter. Every trouble is a flood, and we can either rise up or sink down. and getting our days all into the ark of Christ always lets us still rise. Grace, it too has floods of its own, the way heaven comes down so that we can rise. J.F. Wilson said, "Strange, this familiar father of prodigals, whose love too much for one lifetime, wills that we share the feast of forgiveness and joy in the epilogue of eternity. Strange, this daily advent of Emmanuel." Anne asks, when have you felt flooded, overwhelmed by the waters rising around you? In what ways has God been an ark in the midst of your own flood? And how does it feel to picture the tears of God, to know that He suffers alongside you? I think that is one of the big things that really separates following Jesus over following pretty much anything else, is that Jesus is alongside us. That's really, the meaning of Emmanuel is God with us. And the implications of God with us is that, well, He's not just here, which would be amazing enough, but He's here and He's experiencing, He feels with us. He never leaves us alone to figure it out, but always walks alongside us to guide us. And He's really the only one who can truly know who we are and everything that we do and what we're going through. He probably knows it, well, He definitely knows it more than even we do, which is truly amazing. And so encouraging that He's present and faithful in that way. Well, that concludes today's reading. To find more information about Anne Voskamp and the Greatest Gift, you can look in the description below, along with the song recommendation for today, if you want to continue your reflection and worship after listening to this. Then you can find that in the description. Also, just a reminder, I don't have rights to any of these things. I'm just a fan and hope that it encourages you like it encourages me. And for what it's worth, I'm praying for anyone who's listening. Have a good night or rest of your day whenever you're listening to this, and Merry Christmas.